Hey everybody, Rosematter here, and welcome to part 2 of my Great Ace Attorney Chronicles Let's Play. In the last episode, we started the game as our new protagonist, and thank you guys for letting me know about the proper pronunciation, Ryunosuke. So hopefully that is better. So he is the ancestor of Phoenix Wright, and he is on trial for the murder of an English professor, and he's being defended by his friend who is like a hotshot young lawyer. That sounds familiar. And after a little bit of finessing, we learned that there was another person at the scene that was being covered up by basically everybody that was there, a young English woman, and they're about to go get her and bring her, I guess, to the stand. So I'm guessing we are going to conclude this trial in this episode, so I'm very excited to see how it is going to end. So let's go ahead and let's jump back into the story. Alright, excellent work, Ryunosuke. That was superb. Ugh, my heart was in my mouth the entire time. It was almost unbelievable. I mean, looking at you in there. You were drenched in sweat, your eyes popping, your knees knocking, and you were grinding your teeth. It was a grim sight, but before I knew it, you'd started finding inconsistencies in the testimonies. I think you might have a natural talent for being a lawyer. Forget it. It's terrifying. If I get through this, I don't ever want to see the inside of a courtroom again. It's like in their blood, right? Wouldn't it be cool to have, like, maybe down the line, maybe Nick has a kid, and maybe that kid will grow up to be a lawyer. It's like it's in their family blood. Anyway, it looks like we've exposed your phantom lady at last. Miss Jezaille Brett. And also, I thought that Jezaille was maybe like a thing about like Jezebel, but apparently a Jezaille, it's a type of gun. So, okay, so we got the punny names. It's a very, very subtle reference though, at least to people who don't know much about Sherlock Holmes. A student from Great Britain, is she? That's what I was trying to tell everyone from the start. Dr. Wilson wasn't alone. There was a young woman with him, like I've been saying all along. Yes, you have, haven't you? I might not be overly confident in the courtroom, but my powers of observation are the one thing I am sure of. Yes, I can see that. So, about this young gentlewoman. Thanks to our detective friend, she was hastily escorted away from the scene, it seems. Did you see what happened with that? No, I didn't see any of it. I was just on my way out of the restaurant myself. Then, on the floor next to Dr. Wilson's table, I noticed there was a gun lying on the floor, and just after I bent down and picked it up, bang. I didn't have time to think about where the sound of the gunshot had come from. The waiter ran over to me, looking as white as a sheet, and he bundled me in some sort of small pantry next to the kitchen. Fast thinking by the detective, he apprehended his suspect without a moment's delay. Yes, and because I was shut in the pantry, I have no idea what happened outside in the dining area. Okay, so that's new information, being shoved into a pantry. Oh, there you are. Well done, both of you. Hey, Professor. Sorry I doubted you before. You're still not completely off my, suspicion list that you might do something later to, like screw me over, but for now, I will choose to trust you for this specific trial, that you don't have any ulterior motives. Professor Mikotoba. Well, it seems I was right. The pair of you make an outstanding team. You've exceeded my expectations, I have to say. What I want to know is that girl. We know that girl is going to become a pretty big character later on, but, like, who is she? Like, his assistant? Yes, it seems you planned this from the start. You arranged things so I wouldn't be able to act as a lawyer in this trial. Our modern country is still in its infancy, our justice system even more so. Which is why I firmly believe we need to send our brightest young stars overseas to learn all they can. I wanted to avoid a situation that may have resulted in your study tour to Great Britain being cancelled. Well, it makes no difference. Lawyer or otherwise, if I'm the kind of man who can't help his best friend avert the worst crisis of his life, I shouldn't waste everyone's time by going to study overseas anyway. What? What are you saying, Kazuma? So that's your stance. I was afraid you'd feel that way. Kazuma. Well then, it looks like it all comes down to you, young man. To me? Yes, you need to prove your innocence and uncover what really took place in that restaurant. I must say, I very much want to know the truth. After all, I have a personal connection to this case. Of course you do. Yeah, I'm guessing maybe he knew Dr. Wilson? Come to think of it, he said the same thing earlier this morning, didn't he? If you don't mind me asking, Professor, did you know the victim? Yes, I did. As you're probably aware, Dr. John H. Wilson was a visiting professor at UMA. And it was I who invited him. So someone told me in the comments, and I had a feeling based on, like, I know that one of the reasons why this game was delayed so long for localization is there was a big thing about, like, the Sherlock Holmes thing about the name being used, and there was, like, a big legal kerfuffle about it where I guess the estate of the writer of the Sherlock Holmes books didn't want Sherlock Holmes' name to be used, and that's why I think his name is like Herlock Sholmes or something, and Wilson was supposed to be Watson, and I kind of had a feeling that was the case. I see. I didn't know that before. Anyway, you're about to go into battle. The victim was a university professor from Great Britain, and a well-known one at that. Naturally, our government is looking to identify and punish the culprits as quickly as possible. But let's not forget who we're going up against. The gentlewoman whose involvement our police bureau went to extraordinary lengths to hide. Yes, and I'm sure the prosecution will be using every tool at their disposal to quash your case. But I've no doubt you pair will put up a good fight, right to the last. Best of luck. Thank you. Now then. I need you to run an errand at the university at once. There's something I think we may need. Of course. Good luck, Kazuma-sama. Not good luck to me, the person who actually is, like, defending myself and who is on trial. Defendant Naruhodo. Court recess is over. Please make your way back inside the courtroom at once. It's time. Let's get back to it, partner. Let's go in there and deal a decisive blow before these old fossils know what hit them. Kazuma? What? Thank you. Really. What for? Well, if you hadn't said you believed me, then I'm fairly sure I'd already have been found guilty by now. Look, I have faith in you. As a lawyer, and as a friend. Coming from you, that means a lot. Man, I was gonna say, Ryunosuke gets, like, this really cool, dependable friend, and who did Phoenix get? He got Larry. Larry Butts. He also got Miles' too, but they kind of drifted as friends a little bit. If I'm found guilty in this trial, he's really going to give up on his dream of studying abroad. That's the kind of true friend he is. So this isn't just my battle anymore. Whoever we're up against, we absolutely cannot afford to lose. Alright then. I'll save the thank yous for after the trial. You can treat me to one of those sukiyaki meals I like from Yume Cafeteria on University Street. With an extra large portion, of course. Damn, I was just like, if only lawyers only needed, like... It's like, just take me out for a not too expensive meal and we'll call it even. I've spoken like a true, like, university student, though, I guess. Like, just give me food. The court hereby resumes the trial of Ryunosuke Naruhodo. Professor Achi, have you managed to subpoena the witness? Achi? Ouchie? I can't remember how I pronounced it last time, guys. I think it's Ouchie? Or is it Achi? I think I was saying Ouchie. And someone did say, because it was like Professor Payne, Professor, if it is Ouchie, it's just like they're keeping up with that naming as well. Yes, Your Excellency, against all odds. And thanks to a certain young stripling, the prosecution is now under rather painful scrutiny from the government. Ugh, sorry. Let the government scrutinize. That's their job. It's nothing to worry about. It's highly unlikely that the good relations we forged with Great Britain will emerge from this trial unscathed. Will you still think it's nothing to worry about when the new treaty breaks down and our nation founders? Was it supposed to be flounders? Again, terribly sorry. Dude, like... You don't have anything to apologize for. That's a lot of pressure to put on this kid. If the friendship between our nations is really so fragile, then the treaty isn't worth the paper it's written on. There we go. Kazuma's saying he's speaking truth. You really have nothing to worry about, Ryunosuke. What do you mean? A secret trial, anxiety over some foreign government's opinions, a bungled investigation, missing witnesses. Is this what our nation's justice system is? Is this the Supreme Court of Japan or of England? Oh man, that was, ooh, shots to England there. Shut up, you jumped up rookie boy. You and your friends know nothing of the situation our nation finds itself in. By aligning ourselves with this great world power, we'll become strong. Diplomacy has never been more critical. Steady political maneuvering is what will secure our futures. This is hit a little bit close to home, right? It's just like, the governments, the powers that be, it's just like, oh, we'll just let someone else take the fall, some unimportant civilian take the fall if it means that, you know, for the greater good, for the greatness of the country. I won't deny that I'm no expert. I'm just a student, and one who could arguably study harder, too. But standing here now in our Supreme Court, there's one thing that I feel very strongly. A country that fails to uphold the truth in its justice system is a country with no future at all. Damn! Good speech! That's pretty good. Well said, Ryunosuke. Despite the wide-eyed look of terror, he's like, we gotta work on your eyes here, buddy. Thank you, Counsel. This court is the pinnacle of our nation's justice system, and exists solely for the pursuance of truth. At least the judge seems to be on the same page. With that in mind, this trial will now resume with the next witness taking the stand. The visiting student from Great Britain, Miss Jezaille Brett. Yes. Your Excellency! Well, what a delight it is to welcome such a fine gentlewoman to Japan, and from such a distinct land. Tea! Someone bring English tea! In England, no discussions take place without tea. Is that true? No idea. So, ahem. Could we possibly trouble you to state your name and occupation for the court? Of course. I wish I could do an English accent for you guys so I could, like, voice actor, but I can't do any accents. My name is Satoru Hosonaga. I have been working undercover as the head waiter at La Carnival. Oh, yes, we know all about you already. Inspector Hosonaga, where are your manners? In England, it's always ladies first. Is that true? No idea. More importantly, a little earlier today, you said something to me. You said your powers of observation are the one thing you're sure of. Okay, I was thinking about this because it was highlighted. Because people have their special powers, right? So with, well, Phoenix is just, like, good at catching people and stuff and yelling objection. With, oh my gosh, what is his name? Apollo, he had the bracelet thing that tightened. And whenever, like, and then he could see facial tics, I guess, or, like, certain tics in people to tell if they were lying. And with Athena, she had that whole thing where she could tell people's emotions. So it seems like Ryunosuke, he's got something about observation. Oh yes, I think I did, didn't I? Yet your description for this amazing sight was simply a woman. Okay. Sorry, Ryunosuke, but powers of observation aside, your power of description are sorely lacking. Ah, guilty. Damn, here I was thinking like, oh, they're setting something up, he's gonna have some sort of like special ability. Okay, maybe not. So, dear lady, once again, if we may trouble you for your name and occupation, please. Oh, God. What? I suppose, right, if she's British, they can't really understand her very well. Or does she just talk strange even for, like, a British person? Not saying that British people talk weird, but I mean, like, to a Japanese person, it would be hard to understand the accent. I'm terribly sorry, dear lady, but... What? Okay, so he's translating, basically. Okay. The lady says her name is Jezaille Brett. She comes from London, England. And this is bad, too, because obviously this police officer has a reason to be protecting her. So, we're a little bit of a disadvantage here. Even if she says something that might trip her up or something that might incriminate her, he could just be like, to translate it to make it sound better. She comes from London, England. She's a visiting research student, currently enrolled in the Yume University's medical facility, or faculty. I always screw up facility and faculty. It's faculty. Oh my, what a rare treat to hear the dulcet tones of the delightful language of the British people. I'm afraid I don't understand a word you said, but it was as beautiful as a hummingbird's song. As far as I can tell, the detective is translating her words faithfully enough. Yes, I agree. You'll obviously do fine in England, Kazuma. Her English doesn't rattle you at all, does it? Nor you. You've clearly been paying attention in your English classes, Ryunosuke. Okay, well, at least we have them to see if anything shifty's going on. The court thanks the beautiful lady for taking the stand. Now, if we may trouble you to confirm something, Miss Brett. 3 days ago, at a restaurant called La Carnival, a grim murder took place. The court has been led to believe that you were dining there with the victim, Dr. Wilson, at the time. Is that correct? She says yes. This could take some time. So even though she's studying here in Japan, she can't speak any Japanese? She'd like to apologize for disappearing from the scene. She says she was due to make a presentation at the university, so she had to leave immediately. Interesting, when you're the one who engineered her escape. I was just following special orders from the Bureau. Well now, dear lady, would you be so kind as to cast your eyes over this photographic print? God, they really are treating her with kid gloves, aren't they? Seeing as you were so unfortunately present at the scene of the crime, could it be that your resplendent eyes caught sight of the wicked perpetrator, perhaps? Apparently, it was very frightening and sorrowful. It was a very frightening and sorrowful sight. Do you mean to say... Yes, it would appear the lady did witness the crime. The very moment when the accused, standing right there in this courtroom, shot the victim in cold blood. Order, order in court. Did you hear that, Your Excellency? Here we have absolutely conclusive witness statement. Well, it looks like it's clear now. Clear who our real enemy is. Well, obviously. Unfortunately, I will have to ask you to formally testify, if you please. Kindly tell the court the exact nature of this frightening and sorrowful sight you described. Oh, this is going to be frustrating. So it's like, are we going to have to, like, deal with her and with Hosonoga? Oh, sorry for my dog deciding to cough in the background. Lovely, lovely, Sadie. Thank you for that. I had arranged to meet for a slightly late luncheon with Dr. Wilson that day. The professor was unable to eat, so I ordered for myself only a beefsteak. After a while, the accused came over to greet the professor, and they got into a fierce argument. Then, not long afterwards, the accused took the professor's gun and shot him right before my eyes. I don't carry a gun myself, so obviously I couldn't have been the culprit. And of course she's wearing gloves, so there'd be no fingerprints, even if they were taking fingerprints. Which I don't know if they would do back then. No, I didn't have any kind of argument with the professor at all.
Objection!
Quiet, you filthy wretch. Look at you, you black-hearted blackguard. And look at this snow-white angel. I'm sure even a dark-minded scoundrel like you can imagine whose words the court is gonna believe. Wow, literally, like, trust the white woman. Like, ooh. Spicy. Ugh. You're still making the same mistakes, Ryunosuke. You mustn't blurt out when you're goaded like that. That's a lesson you need to learn. Ugh, but he's so annoying. Of course, I was at the scene as well. I took statements from this lady, and the 2 witnesses who testified before and reported back to the Bureau. It was decided that Miss Brett was not involved, so I let her go. Testimonies of the last 2 witnesses were completely worthless, however. Well, even so, on the day in question, the lady was wearing the same outfit as she is today. With Ryunosuke and his great skills of observation failed to say, like, yeah, she was wearing this humongous swan hat and this swan dress and just looking very out there, for lack of a better word. As you can see, there's nowhere about her person where she could conceal a firearm. Really? In that, like, big petticoat, there's nowhere where she could hide? Or her hat? It's a pretty big hat. I say there's lots of places she could hide a firearm compared to normal people. I would think she could hide a gun almost anywhere, thank you, in that outfit if she wanted to. Unless and until the precise location where the witness is to have hidden a weapon can be shown. This is moot. There are no pockets in my outfit. I have nowhere to hide a gun. Those are the witness's own words on the matter. Arg, that's ridiculous. If only I was allowed to lift up her dress, I could prove it. Don't think about doing anything rash, Ryunosuke. But I didn't fire the gun I picked up. There must have been another gun there that day. You're right about that. Which means, this lady was hiding a gun somewhere. Yes, that's what we have to prove now. And to do so, we will need to pull her testimony apart. I was waiting for him to say we will need to pull her dress up. The defense may now cross-examine the witness. Oh, yes, Your Excellency. Alright, so I'm just gonna press everything. Might as well at this point. There's not really any, punishment for that. After 2 p.m. in fact, that's really quite a late lunch, isn't it? You don't keep up with the latest fashions from Britain, do you? Late luncheons are en vogue, isn't that right? No. Ugh. A decisive English no has quite a sting to it. The gentlewoman is currently working in the victim's research laboratory, it seems. So it was apparently a daily occurrence that they would lunch together. But on the day in question, the victim had another appointment at the clinic first. Yes, which we can prove from the medical report card that was submitted as evidence earlier. That's right. Miss Brett and the victim went to lunch following the victim's treatment, which is why it was so late. Yes, that all makes perfect sense. Such wonderful logic. What a shining example of English intelligence this fine gentlewoman is. Okay, like, you're getting to the point now where it sounds condescending now. So you both arrived at the restaurant. What happened next? The professor was unable to eat, so I ordered for myself only a beef steak.
Yes.
He was unable to eat, you say? And that was because he just had a tooth removed at the Hoda Clinic, correct? That's right. You're supposed to actually check with the witness before answering. Was Miss Brett aware of that fact? It seems so, yes. She'd heard that the professor was to have some dental treatment. So that would mean... that it was you who ate the steak pictured here. Is that right, Miss Brett? That's right, yes. The print you have there shows the table exactly it was left after the horrifying events. Exactly. Oh, yeah, because, yeah, he was in... Hold up. Yeah, there's the picture of him where he was shot, and the food was behind him. Okay, there we go. Dear me, what a harrowing experience. To have traveled to a distant island on the far side of the world and be embroiled in such a tragic incident. Have no fear, my dear lady. I swear I will crush the evil fiend that has subjected you to this terrible plight. So the victim, Dr. Wilson, had nothing to eat or drink at all. That's right. Other than some carbonated water, which was on the side with the steak. Just water? Yes, the professor was unable to eat, but he had been given permission to drink water. So it appears the diners toasted their lunch with a glass of water each, which wasn't at the scene. They each raised a glass of carbonated water. And this is what it's good to press everything. What do you think, Ryunosuke, about the witness's last statement? Yeah, very meaningful. That last statement of yours, Miss Brett, has a profound bearing on this case. Well, well, how fascinating. Do tell us, what is this profound bearing, Come on, I know what it is. He probably knows what it is too, or is he just bullshitting, or is he just blanking? The significance of the statement will become apparent when the time is right. The defense calls for the witness's last statement to be formally added to the testimony. Well, step-sided, counsel. Alright, very well, Miss Brett. Kindly repeat what you just said to be added to your official testimony. Gladly, she said. That was brilliant, Kazuma. I'm going to remember that one. Which one? The significance will become apparent when the time is right. I could really use that phrase, and he totally will. I still think, like, I think Kazuma's gonna die, and then, like, Ryo's gonna use all of these things, like saying partner, like, we did it, partner. Like, couldn't have done this without you, partner, and then using that specific line. Maybe even towards the end of the game. I'd hope there are some more useful tips you're picking up from this experience than that, Ryunosuke. Okay, so let's go ahead and go into the... So we want E. Nope. Alright, so we're gonna use... So yeah, there's the picture there that shows they said it was exactly as it was, but why would he be sitting in the chair, right, where the food is? But we're gonna use this one here. Oh, okay. Present, right. Hopefully this is correct. Oh, why isn't this working? Oh no, R is present. Yes! That's what happens when you don't play for a week. You get a little rusty about what to press. That's it. Let me just confirm something, please. It's to do with this photographic print. Just a short while ago, you spoke of this print, showing the victim's table at the crime scene. That it was exactly as it was left. That is correct, the lady says. Well, that is, it's odd. Dear me, what is odd about the defense's inability to express itself? Ugh. Ryunosuke, what is it about this print that looks odd to you? Well, obviously, it's the cheers. The cheers? Miss Brett just told us that she and the professor said cheers over a glass of water. Maybe, Hosanaga's gonna say that he took the glass away before the picture was taken? But if that's true, there should be 2 glasses on the table, not 1. Oh! You're quite right, Counsel. There's only 1 glass pictured here. Objection! Are we supposed to be impressed by this nitpicking over minutia? What possible difference does the presence or absence of a glass make on the case? Objection! Minutia, you say? Could it be that the detective here removed a glass from the table to conceal the lady's presence? Of course not. I would never do something so reckless. But there should have been 2 glasses on the table. Or are you going to try and tell me you can clink with only 1? Maybe he's gonna say the bottle? Like, did he use the bottle? You're quite right. I certainly took 2 glasses to the table. Oh. Okay, what's going on here? Inspector, what did the lady say? It would seem that it was Miss Brett who took the glass from the table. So she could take a glass from the table and hide it somewhere. Who's to say she couldn't hide a gun, right? I still love the fact that they're like, there's no way she could have hid a gun. Like, look at her dress, look at her hat. What? It was all so terrifying, everything that happened. I panicked and thought I should try to hide the fact I'd been there at all, she's saying. Good gracious. Sorry. I really wish I could do an English accent for this. There, as I assured the court before, this is of no consequence at all. Oh, please. That's alright, we're just gonna get to the next part of the picture, which is why is Wilson at the seat where the food is. We must remember that this student had just murdered the lady's luncheon companion before her very eyes. Who could blame her for concealing a glass or 2 in her state of disarray? That's absurd. Oh, really? So do we take it that you are now going to accuse this vulnerable, young, and beautiful woman of mischief? What? No. This can't be put down to mischief. This is giving me Dahlia Hawthorne vibes, where it's just like, oh, she's just so pretty that we must believe everything that she says. I'd like to know exactly how the lady took the glass from the scene. So she says that she was able to hide it in her whatever, then we can assume that she hid a gun too. It would seem she slipped it into a small handbag she was carrying. Okay, and yeah, so she can't put a gun in there? A handbag, you say? Yes, Your Excellency. A small, handheld pouch commonly carried by well-to-do women in England. So the beautiful lady has very graciously explained how and why she removed the glass from the scene now. However, the fact remains that this glass has absolutely no bearing on the case. This student has been trying to confuse the court with logical reasoning, but in the end, it comes to nothing. No more pretentious accusations. You've wasted enough time already. Indeed, the lady has offered a satisfactory explanation as to why she removed this glass. I think henceforth we can consider the matter to have no bearing on the case. Counsel for the defense, are you in agreement? No. Well, I don't know really. If you want to pursue this matter further, you're going to need to show that it has some deeper significance. I already know what it is. It's not so much that she took the glass, it's what... But then again, I guess if she took the glass, but then the gun... If there's 2 guns and she took the gun from the scene, I don't think she'd be able to fit both in her purse, but I'm still guessing that purse, the bag is going to have some significance. Yes, you're right. So she took the glass away in her handbag. If there's a deeper significance there, it's... the handbag! The handbag! Oh, why is it not letting me go down here? Wait! The lady put the glass in her handbag, you say? Yes, do try to keep up. It's already been explained to the court that all English gentlewomen carry handbags for small items. Let me see. A little while ago, Miss Brett stated the following. There are no pockets in my outfit. I have nowhere to hide a gun. Bum bum bum. But what she forgot to mention was her handbag. I like the slaps on the table have absolutely no weight to them at all. Like when Phoenix or any of the other lawyers, they slam their hand down, it's like thunk. I assume as he gets more confident, he's gonna go from like little slaps to just like he's gonna be doing those forceful like slams on the table, in which it would be perfectly possible to conceal a gun. You're right. Well done, partner. I had a feeling you'd pick up on that too. What are you insinuating, you vile blackguard? It's really very simple. The gunshot was heard when the defendant picked up the gun from the restaurant floor. As he didn't fire that gun, we can deduce there must have been another firearm at the scene. A true murder weapon, if you will. You can't seriously be suggesting. Inspector Hosonaga. Yes? Did you or did you not search Miss Jezaille Brett's handbag on the day of the murder? No, sir, I did not. Yes, some detective you are, unless you're trying to, you know, obviously cover her, as I thought. In other words, another gun, the one that was actually used to kill the professor, could have been hidden in Miss Brett's handbag. No! I'm waiting for that hair to fly off, that wig. Order, order, order! What is the meaning of this, Inspector? The meaning of what, Prosecutor Ouchie? Ouchie. I'm gonna say ouchie. Why on earth did you not have the lady open her handbag and show you the contents at the time? At least he's not trying to conceal stuff either. Like, he's also wanting to know what's up. Thanks to your bungling incompetence, now she has to endure these uncomfortable accusations. Brilliant work, partner. Now we have a chance to expose the real woman behind the mask. Do you think so, Kazuma? I'm waiting for that, like, villain breakdown, like, her hair is, like, the hat's probably all gonna, like, the feathers are gonna go everywhere, and just, her hair is probably gonna just go bugging out. Well, what a sorry situation. Clearly you have no faith in the police. And also, we still need to know what's up with him coughing blood. What's up with that? As I said, I did not search the lady's handbag after the shooting, simply because it was unnecessary. Unnecessary in what way? I ought to thank the student lawyer, really. Oh, here we go. It's never that easy, is it? I have a piece of evidence here that I had completely forgotten about. This photographic print. Oh, it's clear. Okay. This print is of a photograph that I thought would be prudent to take immediately after the shooting. Does he have, like, a tattoo there? What is that on his hand? As you can see, it clearly shows Miss Brett's handbag. Well, I never. You can see right through to what's inside. Maybe it's only see-through on one side. That's right. Apparently, meshwork bags like these are the height of fashion in London at the moment. So the contents are clearly visible. Exactly. So there was no need to search the lady's handbag. If there had been a gun inside, it would have been immediately obvious. Ugh! As you can see, there's nothing to imply Miss Brett's guilt here. Thank you for helping to prove that, Naruhodo-san. Order, order! Inspector Hosonaga, you will submit that print as evidence at once. Certainly, Your Excellency. I want to know what is that marking on Wilson's hand, or his wrist, I should say. I think you've had long enough to cross-examine the witness counsel. The court has now been shown considerable evidence. As the photographic print just submitted into the court record appears to have no further significance, I am satisfied that there is no longer any room for doubt in this matter, and I must make my ruling. Indeed, and there is only one logical conclusion, that the pathetic rookie slumped over the bench before us is the only possible perpetrator of this crime. Come on, get your third wind. Come on. No. Just when I thought I was beginning to turn things around. I'm in a worse situation than I was at the start. Kazuma? That's not good when he's looking like that. I'm sorry, Ryunosuke. Now that the cross-examination of the witness is over, there's no way to force the trial to continue. What? You mean, this is it? Tish. I must say, you put up quite a fight for a rookie student, but the weak are meat, while the strong eat. You are wasting your time. There's no way to defeat true justice. A fact you can chew on to your heart's content. From the inside of your cell. I'm guessing it's not so much, Ryu about to go to prison. It's seeing his friend, like, all upset, being like, all of his dreams are basically over, because he said he was going to give up. If he couldn't defend his friend, then he's going to give up his dreams. And that's going to be what's going to get Ryu to be like, go Super Saiyan. He's going to be like, no, this is not over. and he's gonna find his confidence. For his friend, this can't be happening. Am I really going to be found guilty of a crime I didn't commit? And Kazuma, his dream of going to study in Great Britain will slip through his fingers. Kazuma, what? Is there really no chance now of turning this trial around? You heard the judge. There's nothing about that last photograph the detective produced we can contest. What about the other one? There's the other one. Which means there's no basis on which we can argue for the trial to continue. Very well, I will now proceed immediately to the ruling. It seems we'll be able to report to the British government on time after all. That smug little... Ryunosuke Naruhodo, having considered all the evidence placed before me. Oh, there we go. Come on, you knew he wasn't going to give up. There's still so much we need to discuss. Wait, Your Excellency. Ryunosuke? I don't think you can rule on this case yet. This amateurishness is getting tedious. When His Excellency deems the trial is over, he gives his ruling. That is the most basic protocol of the courtroom. Your Excellency, just a moment ago, you said this. As the photographic print just submitted appears to have no further significance, there is no longer any room for doubt in this matter, and I must make my ruling. Now, that means that if there was a problem with the evidence, some significant detail I mean. Is this where he's bullshitting, he's just trying to buy time like Phoenix would do? Then ruling on the case at this time would be out of the question. This is blatant straw clutching. Look at this photographic print. All it shows is the handbag the gentlewoman was carrying on the day in question. There can be no problem with this evidence. You better know what you're doing, Ryunosuke. He's like, I hope I know what I'm doing too. I understand your objection, counsel. Certainly, the new evidence submitted by the detective has not undergone the court's scrutiny. However, I fail to see how we can glean any new information from this handbag. My thoughts exactly. Really, the prosecution is becoming tired of this rookie's desperate wheezes. Yes, I am desperate, but this isn't a wheeze. There's something about this photograph which just doesn't seem right. If only I could put my finger on it. Come on, use those powers of observation, dude. Very well. I will grant the defense one final opportunity. Uh-oh, let's hope I get this right. What? But be warned, if I am unsatisfied by your response here, the trial will be over with immediate effect. Do I make myself clear? Should I save right now? Maybe I should save just in case. Alright, let's hope I'm on the right path here. Yes, Your Excellency. So, take another look at this photographic print Inspector Hosonaga submitted before. You will identify for the court where in this print we see the significant detail to which you have alluded. Okay. Please let it be this, please. Yes. Yay! Look at this here. There's a very unusual mark on the victim's wrist. That is true. It looks almost like a burn of some description. Dear me, I was pondering what new piffle you would come out with. A burn, you say, on the victim's wrist? Clearly that has nothing whatsoever to do with the magnificent lady's handbag. Oh, but she saw something there. I'm not quite... So there was, like, the powder, right, that went around the bullet wound. I don't know if that has anything to do with the burn. Oh, I'm wondering, is it like, because when it's shot, it would be hot, right? So maybe, like, the burn, and they said it was, like, it was a patchwork. Is that implying that it's metal? That the purse is made of metal? Okay, let's see where we're going with this. I'm a little confused, but let's see. It might be super obvious, but go on, Inspector. The police coroner also noticed it when he was performing the post-mortem examination. It was deemed unrelated to the cause of death, so he didn't note it in his report. What did I tell you? In any case, we have no idea when the victim suffered this burn, do we? And no possible way of knowing either. The more I look at it, the more I find myself intrigued by the curious shape of this mark. However, as Professor Ouchie points out, unless a firm connection to the case can be shown. I cannot allow any further time to be spent on the precise details of this burn. Maybe, okay, is it a pattern from the purse? I'll have to look at it a little bit more. Excuse me, Your Excellency. It would seem Miss Brett has a lunch appointment with the Dean and other university staff. She would like to know if she may be excused from the stand now. Yeah, she's obviously rattled. She's like, I gotta get out of here. Oh, of course, my dear lady. We shan't hold you up any longer. I'm quite sure His Excellency is about to give his final ruling anyway. Wouldn't be so sure about that. What's your thinking on this, Ryunosuke? Do you believe this burn does have something to do with the case? After all that, I'd be like, no, it doesn't. I was just pulling something out of my ass. To be honest, I'm not really sure. But if I don't keep pushing, then it's all over. He's got that Phoenix Wright tenacity, for sure. Just that bullshittery. So I was thinking I should just keep digging and digging in the hope I might uncover something useful. Yes, you're right. I am? If we can just link that burn to the case. If we can do that, we might be able to prise this shutting door back open once again. Just give up, Counsel. You can't possibly hope to do that. Indeed, I'm afraid that without evidence, I can't allow you to pursue what is little more than conjecture. But if we had evidence? Evidence that irrefutably links the burn on the victim's wrist to the case, then you would allow it? I would, yes. To tell the truth, I hadn't noticed that burn. But as soon as you pointed it out, what I did notice was the color draining from Miss Brett's face. Really? So Ryu didn't, like, describe the elaborate outfit this woman was wearing, but he noticed the little burn mark on the guy's wrist. I have to find some link between that burn and the case. Alright, here we go. I feel like we're getting to maybe the final stretch of this. This is the moment of truth. It's time to find some evidence that proves what the burn really means. So then, the defense will now present its evidence to the court. The evidence that demonstrates an inextricable connection between the victim's burn and this trial. Okay. So we gotta gotta be real careful about this. Okay, the bullet did not pass. Oh, I can actually check this out. So let's go to examine. Single bullet fired at close range, fatal hemorrhage from pectoral ballistic trauma, no exit wound. Bullet did not pass through the body. Okay, so I was gonna guess, like, it had something to do... Well, the burn, maybe if he was like... No, I don't think that would be it. Okay, let's check the photograph here. Because obviously something... He got moved. He got moved during this, because why would he be seated there where the food is? Okay, so there's the magnifying glass. It's showing that spot where he got shot. Except, would he have gotten shot in the back? No, he got but it said it didn't... It's the whole thing about it not passing through. That has to, like, it doesn't pass through. Okay, let's take a look at the photograph again. It almost looks like... It looks like a bull's head. But I'm just trying to see, is there anything on... I was like, is there anything on the purse that matches the marking on his wrist? Ooh, I'm a little stumped about this one. Oop. Ah, that's not what I wanted to do. Oh, wait a minute. Hold up. Hold up. Here we go. Okay. I was saying it looked like a bullhead. I was so busy focusing on, like, okay, thinking it was something from her purse. All right, there we go. So do I present this picture specifically, and then it's going to ask me to point out, like, okay, what about this picture? Okay, so let's present.
Yes.
All right. What's this, Counsel? Yet another print? Yes, Your Excellency. I believe photographic prints are an amazing invention. When we humans look at a scene, we miss things. But in a photograph, things we may have overlooked at the time are recorded forevermore. Do hurry up, Rookie. What are you trying to say? To inconvenience this poor lady any further really would be quite inexcusable. Actually, we may need you to stay with us a little longer if you don't mind, Miss Brett. You see, it's very clearly visible in this other photograph. How did the victim come to have that unusually shaped burn on his wrist? The reason is recorded here forevermore. What? How?
Objection!
You can't fool me with your little bluffs, boy. If that's your game, then let's see how it plays out. Show the court exactly what you mean. Alright, what is it in this photograph that explains the reason for the victim's burn?
Yes!
There we go. The beefsteak? Actually, the point is the metal plate the steak was served on. The plate? Ah! Your Excellency, are you alright? As you can see, there's an emblem on the plate. I would guess it's some sort of trademark of La Carnival. Proves that it happened in the restaurant. Ah. This emblem on the plate. And the victim's burn are exactly the same shape. Ah! Ryunosuke, you genius! You're spot on. Which means the victim must have suffered this burn while he was present at the restaurant. Alright, something tells me that we're far from being done now. But even if that's the case, we can't know if it happened on the day in question or not. It could have been the day before, or the day before that. It most likely happened at some other unrelated time. Well, Then Kazuma steps in. Sadly, Prosecutor Ouchie, the chances of that are extremely slim. Thanks. Why? The outline of the burn is clearly discernible. Such a serious injury would have caused quite a commotion in the restaurant. Wouldn't you agree, Inspector Hosonoga? I can't imagine having missed such a terrible disaster, certainly. But... I would say, looking at the picture of the wound, that it wasn't suffered very long ago. That's the problem with it being black and white, is you do have to take some liberties with it. And although it's not a particularly large burn, it's extremely well defined, as the defense just pointed out. This was no mild burn, that's for sure. Can you be more specific, Inspector? Well, let's see. If the plate was at around 90 degrees centigrade, a burn like that would have taken around 3 seconds. It's inconceivable that the victim wouldn't have let out a scream of pain then. I've been investigating at the restaurant for several weeks already, but I've not heard anyone scream at all. As the head waiter of La Carnival, I can testify to that without hesitation. But you're a detective, not a waiter!
Yes!
There you have it. Something isn't right here. As the detective said, anyone who burnt themselves on a piping hot plate for 3 whole seconds would scream in pain. There's no question of that. And yet, Inspector Hosonaga never heard the professor scream, not on that day or any before it. That's right. And the strange thing is, on the day he was shot, I didn't hear him cry out either. What are you suggesting? Well, if the professor had carelessly laid his wrist on the plate for anything like 3 seconds that day, that would be beyond careless, I think, counsel. Then the rest of us in the restaurant, myself, the sergeant, and the old antiques dealer, all of us would, without question, have heard him scream. Wouldn't you agree, Professor Ouchie? Well, yes, I suppose. So the question is, why didn't a single person hear Dr. Wilson scream? I almost don't believe it. Ryunosuke, do you think? Oh, is it because he was already dead? Can it be true? I never dreamed we'd arrive at a conclusion like this, but I'm starting to think that maybe we've been led into a terrible trap. Oh, okay, wasn't expecting that. Is this what she wanted us to figure out? There's only one explanation I can think of to make sense of this apparent impossibility. On the day in question, when he suffered the burn to his wrist, Dr. Wilson was asleep. I mean, maybe he got knocked out, but I think most likely he was already dead. No man could remain silent while his wrist was burning on a piping hot plate for 3 whole seconds. That's clearly impossible, apart from in one particular situation. Counsel, are you suggesting... Look at him! Look at that stance! He's so much more confident now. What's that thing? Does he have something wrong with his wrist? I just noticed that he's got, like, some sort of wrist thing. Yes, it's only possible if the man was already dead. Already... dead? Knowing what we know now, it's the only possible explanation. When the beefsteak was brought to Dr. Wilson's table that day, the professor was already dead. Oh, shit. What? That's madness. What? And Hosonaga didn't notice that? Order, please. Counsel, explain this absurd notion at once. The victim was killed by a gunshot. That's right. That's absolutely right, Your Excellency. Or, that's what he meant about being led into a trap. So he was already dead and then shot, and then the gun was left there for someone to discover it. The thing is, did she plan for it to be Rio specifically to, or just like anyone? Like, how would she have known that Rio was going to come over and say hi to the professor? So, okay, yeah, so weird. We're going to have to get to the bottom of this. This is just another ridiculous ploy by the rookie student, but clearly he has no grasp of the facts.
Objection!
No, Prosecutor Ouchie, it is you who has no grasp of the facts. It's probably Ouchie, but I just like saying Ouchie. I beg your pardon. As soon as it became apparent the victim had suffered that burn while at the restaurant, this whole case was turned upside down. Or have you not grasped that yet? Ugh. Your Excellency, the court must hear from the witness again. If it's true, as we now believe, that the victim was already dead before the gunshot was heard, it's highly likely that Miss Brett knows something about it. Incredible. I certainly didn't anticipate this twist of events. I'm sorry to say, Miss Brett, that you will have to forget your luncheon engagement. But, Your Excellency... The justice system in our country may be in its infancy, but rest assured, all reasonable doubt must be dispelled before I am prepared to pass judgment. Thank you, Your Excellency. What was that smile? Yes, of course. I mean... I'd be delighted to help. Oh, shit! I'm assuming that means she can speak Japanese? Especially if it helps relations between my country and yours. Ah, Miss Brett, you speak Japanese? Just playing dumb. Well, of course I do. I am studying in your country after all. But then, why have you been speaking through an interpreter until now? Because she just wanted to make it seem like she's just like, oh, I'm just this dainty English woman who doesn't know what's going on. My mother tongue, the Queen's English, is the most refined and elegant language in the world. As a gentlewoman, I try to avoid speaking in your vulgar tones as much as possible. Wow. Wow, damn. Yeah, you want to try and defend her now, Ouchie? But it seems the men in this land possess none of the chivalrous virtues of English gentlemen. So I can see I shall have to lower myself to communicating with you all on your own level. Oh, well... You are the epitome of a true English gentlewoman. We are truly honored by this. This lavish consideration you so graciously afford us. Well, I guess I underestimated just how slimy he could be and how low he could go to still, like, try and appease her even after she just insulted all of them. The judge probably isn't too happy about it. I see. In that case, Miss Brett, I will now ask you to testify in your own words about the events leading up to the death of the victim, Dr. Wilson. So we're finally going to hear her own words on the matter. Things are getting interesting, Ryunosuke. Alright. Unfortunately, I have no idea when the poor man burnt his wrist like that. When the waiter brought my steak, the professor and I raised our glasses in a toast. As far as I've heard, the post-mortem report showed no other possible causes of death besides the gunshot. If there's some other way a man's life can be taken without leaving a trace, please, do show me. But of course, this country's inferior investigation techniques probably wouldn't pick up on it anyway. Wow. Maybe, like, tone down the insults? Whew, okay, now I just want to take this girl down even more. That most captivating and beautiful testimony will go down in the Supreme Court's history, thank you. Easy does it. Oh my gosh, Judge, come on. I hope that this is the last time I'll have to sully my lips with the coarse tones of your unbecoming tongue. Oh, forgive me. I do hope I haven't insulted anyone. Not at all, not at all. It is a delight merely to hear you speak, dear lady. And it seems very clear from your testimony that this boorish talk of the victim's burn is utterly irrelevant. I'll be speaking to your country's Minister of Justice about what has happened here today. The Minister of Justice? May that irritating little bully of a student be given the harshest punishment possible. Amen. Huh? Thanks? Was that a prayer then? Well, you'll have to forgive the irritation, Miss Brett, and put up with a cross-examination now. I expect you've noticed that this little bully of a student, as you put it, doesn't miss much. Alright, I'm sure I don't need to remind you, counsel, that this will be your final cross-examination. Or will it? Will it really? If you fail to demonstrate any problems with this witness's testimony, I will be ruling on the case immediately. Is that clear? Isn't that what Apollo did? Didn't he? Or no, he yelled, didn't he? He would yell. He would scream. I don't know if he slapped himself. Is that Rio's thing? It's like, I'm going to smack myself in the face. Yes, Your Excellency. Then you may proceed with the cross-examination. Alright, once again, we'll just press everything.
Yes!
Alright, but his hand was on the searing hot plate for at least 3 whole seconds. You can't not have noticed. Do you think so? Let me ask you something. Sorry? Ever since I arrived at this courtroom, and even still now, the fly on those unsightly black trousers of yours have been wide open. You can't not have noticed, can you? Wow. Huh? What? Ah! Ha! What fun. You hadn't realized. The dear lady is absolutely right. As your friend, you've embarrassed me as well as yourself, Ryunosuke. Why didn't you tell me? Dr. Wilson was a true English gentleman. I almost called him a gentlewoman. He chose honorable silence over a vulgar scream. Can your tiny brains imagine such a thing? Oh yes, I think my tiny brain can.
Yes!
Oh god. Ouchie's such a simp? Well, I can't. Anyway. When the waiter brought my steak, the professor and I raised our glasses in a toast.
Yes!
As you testified before, you were drinking carbonated water, is that right? Dr. Wilson was only permitted to drink water at that time, if you remember. Which explains why he ordered that drink. Correct, waiter? Exactly as you say, sir. Although... Whether or not the professor actually drank any of the water when I delivered the steak to the table... I'm afraid I don't remember that. Damn you. Oh. Ah, I have enough English to understand that at least. For the benefit of others in court, it means, bless you. I think it means the exact opposite. Anyway, so they're going on about the water, right? And didn't she say at the end, like, what other way could you, like, kill someone? What if she put poison in the carbonated water? Oh, and that is probably why she took the glass away, because it probably had traces of poison in it. Ah, I think I got it. It's almost always poison. And isn't that, like, that's a way a lot of women, not to stereotype, but that's a way a lot of women kill, is poison. Is they don't like the direct, violent confrontation, like things about stabbing or shooting somebody, or like physical. They like to do things a little bit more subtle. And I'm sure her is like a gentle woman, right? She would just be like, oh, I would never dirty myself by like doing something physical, so I poison them. As far as I've heard. And the whole fact it was carbonated water, maybe that would have something to do with it. Maybe the carbonation of the water, like, activated whatever she put in there? Because they keep going on about the fact it's carbonated water instead of just water. As far as I've heard, the post-mortem report showed no other possible cause of death besides the gunshot. Oh, shoot, I forgot to press that. Can I go back? Shoot, okay, well, it's that thing here. If there's some other way a man's life can be taken without leaving a trace, please show me. Shoot, I might have to. I had to go back and press that other statement. Without leaving a trace? If someone is shot, or strangled, or stabbed, or thrown from a height, however a person's life is taken, there is always telltale traces on the body. Quite right, dear lady. As our police force has thoroughly examined the body of the deceased, there can be no doubt. Isn't that right, Inspector Hosonaga? As I've said, I always aim for a flawless investigation. There would be physical traces with all those causes of death, that's true. But maybe there's some other way of killing someone that doesn't leave a mark. Exactly. If, heaven forbid, you doubt me, young man, you're going to have to tell everyone how exactly you think the professor did lose his life. Hold on. And isn't she, like, a medical student? So wouldn't she have access to poison? Hold up. Let me go into the court record and just double check. People. So let's see here. Yeah, medical school. Yes, she totally would have access to all sorts of poisons. Yes. Okay, I think we got it. Otherwise, I'm afraid your argument falls rather flat, doesn't it? Oh no, perish the thought, calling such a sweet young lady's innocence into question? On my honor, I, Takatsuchi Aochi, will cut down any who dare cast such aspirations. Or oh my gosh. Aspersions? A way of killing someone that leaves no trace. When in doubt, with this game, I feel like 50% of the time it's gonna be poison. We need some evidence to back us up here. Yes, evidence. Okay, so let's go again. Oh yes, she's got another thing here, but of course this country's inferior investigative techniques probably wouldn't pick up on it anyway. Well, let's test that glass then, girl.
Yes!
Inferior? What do you mean by that? In the lands of the Great British Empire, the police store everything found at a crime scene for later examination. But in this country, you investigate once and that's the end of it. Isn't that so? Oh, she is gonna regret that, except... Oh, they probably don't have the glass anymore, so there's no way of testing it. She probably ditched it. And she's mocking us for it, that she's like, oh, you probably should have taken that glass, but you didn't. And now any hope of figuring out what happened is gone. Quite right. La Carnival is open for business as usual today, just days after the incident. Dude, don't say that like it's a good thing. Exactly. Which means that even if the investigation takes a different direction... Wait. Oh, what happened there? Vital evidence may be lost. What is this? Is this... Oh, I think this is a new part of the game where it's like, now am I gonna have to like press him? He remembered something. It doesn't even occur to your naive detectives to try and preserve the crime scene. I'm trying to be as tactful about this as I can, you understand. A killer blow. The lady is formidable as she is beautiful. Amazing. He's actually admitting our police may be flawed. Perhaps Prosecutor Ouchie is finally starting to see sense. I very much doubt that. Still, there's something about what Miss Brett just said. There was a moment before when something didn't seem quite right. What do you think, Ryunosuke? I think it's going terribly. No matter how much I press her, I'm not turning up any new information. Yes, as I suspected, she's a tough witness. We need to find a way to break her testimony, or the cross-examination will be over. But that would mean I have to find a way. There must be some clue somewhere to help us find a chink in her armor. Kazuma. What, Ryunosuke? There is one thing I noticed. Something that's been bothering me. Bothering you? You mean about Miss Brett? Actually, no. About the person standing next to her, Inspector Hosonaga, the detective. Yes, he seemed to react a little strangely to Miss Brett's last statement. I was wondering if it might be significant. If it might present an opening, maybe. Alright, I have an idea. Try pressing her on that last statement one more time. If you think so, but this time, instead of targeting the woman herself, let's see what we can get out of the detective. Alright then. I wonder what Kazuma's thinking. I'll find out soon enough, I suppose, once I press Miss Brett on her last statement again.
Yes!
Okay, so now this should be where he reacts, right?
Wait.
Oh, okay. Alright, yes, there it is again. The detective's reaction is just the same as before. Why? Up until now, the detective has been in the stand with Miss Brett as her interpreter. But things are very different now. For this testimony, the detective is just listening to what the Englishwoman has to say. This could be a golden opportunity. What do you mean? When people are actually testifying, they're usually very careful not to let anything slip. However, when they're listening to someone else speak, you'll find they often let their guard down. You're right. Look at him. He's lost in his own thoughts. It's like they can visually see the speech bubble above his head and be like, well, that's a weird thing. Using my observation skills, I notice that he's got a thought bubble above his head. It's time to pursue the man in his train of thought. Sorry? Pursue? I'll explain how to do it now, Ryunosuke. Ryunosuke. I think I had it right for a while there. Ryunosuke. There we go. It's all to do with the witness marker. What marker? At the moment, we're focused on Miss Brett, who's the person actually making the current statement. Oh yes, I do remember seeing this in the trailer. Was about how, like, it seems like a lot of times during the trials there'll be multiple people on the stand. But by moving the marker left and right, you can turn your attention to other people in the stand. While you're looking at the other witnesses, you'll be able to pursue them. If you can catch the person at just the right time, you might uncover some new information to pursue. If you ever notice a strange atmosphere amongst the people on the stand, take a good look around. Alright then, so first I should move the marker across and focus on the detective. Then pursue him and see what's on his mind. Here we go. Alright, at least it's not making me have to do it all over again. Okay. Okay, I'm moving it with... There we go. And now, do I guess... So do I press him?
Excuse me.
Excuse me. Ugh, what the... What's the meaning of this? I am so sorry. I didn't mean to shock you. He really was lost in his thoughts, deeply. It looked like you were thinking something just now, Inspector. Perhaps having heard what the lady next to you had to say? If there's something you'd like to say, please, share it with the court.
Objection!
What is the meaning of this? It's the delightful English woman who's testifying at the moment. If you can't find fault with her testimony, then the cross-examination should be over immediately. Oh, is that how it works? Absolutely not. Huh? The detective is in the stand, which makes him a valid witness. Yes, not to mention the fact he's intimately involved in the case. Inspector Hosonaga. Yes? Do you have something to add in relation to the statement just made by Miss Brett? Well, yes, if you don't mind. I would like to speak. Oh, that's probably not going to make her too happy. Or she will be happy because she thinks that, you know, he's going to be on her side. The lady is right. Our country's police practices are not as modern as those used in Great Britain. Which is why I, Satoru Hosonaga, always strive to make every investigation I'm involved in flawless. Oh, it's like she took a dig at him and he took offense to that. What do you really mean by that? I'll tell you what I mean. I won't have evidence lacking on my watch. I'm not afraid to take everything I can from the scene of the crime. It's preserving evidence, you see. Oh, so maybe she didn't know that he took the glass. I don't care if they call me a crime scene thief. I'm not ashamed of what I've done. A crime scene thief. Well, it looks like the lady's remarks touched a nerve there. Take this, for example. Oh, yes. Oh, yes. She didn't... Well, it's not the glass, but it's something. Is that? This is the bottle of carbonated water that I took to the victim's table on the day in question. And yes, it's lost all of its fizz, having been opened 3 days ago now. But it was carbonated water. I don't care what anyone says. If she did put some poison in there, maybe. I don't know if she put it in the bottle or just in the guy's glass, but there might still be some traces of poison. Maybe he drank some of the water, and maybe that's why he's bleeding from the mouth, is maybe there was some trace poison in there that's causing some internal bleeding? I don't know. I don't know. One day our police force will be among the best in the world. The time is coming. I guarantee it. See, girl, this is why you catch more flies with honey than with vinegar. If you hadn't insulted him, maybe he wouldn't be bringing this up. I can't say I condone the witness's actions, but I do understand the sentiment. The court will accept the glass bottle of water as evidence. Alright, I should hopefully be able to like, check this out and see if I can find anything weird about it. Miss Brett. Can you confirm this is indeed the bottle from which you drank on the day of the victim's death? Yes, it was that bottle. What was that about? She seemed to avert her eyes when she answered the judge's question. Very well. Counsel, you may resume the cross-examination. And the inspector will kindly control his fervor. Ahem. Okay, there was one thing there that I didn't... That's right, there was something I didn't press. Okay, this is the one I don't think I pressed, so we'll do that now. Oh, but let's check the bottle out here. Okay, there is a magnifying glass thing, so we can examine. Oh, okay. Label is written in a foreign language that I don't recognize. Do you know what it says, Kazuma? I think it's French. This must be very expensive water. Yes, but what does it say? That's what I was asking. Then go to France and ask. You could just say that you don't know. Oh my gosh, I'm trying to remember. I'm like, okay. So yes, alright. So this carbonated water is the last drink Dr. Wilson ever had. It looks like there's a little left in the bottle, although it's just plain water now. You know, I've been sweating so much, I'm absolutely parched. I'll just have a sip of this. No, don't. If it's what I think it is, don't. No, Ryunosuke, you can't do that. For one thing, that's evidence. You can't go drinking evidence. Oh no, you're right. We don't know what might be inside, do we? You never cease to amaze me, Ryunosuke. In more ways than one. Maybe implying like, yeah, I wonder, and maybe implying like, he thinks there might be poison in there, but also that he would try and drink it anyway. I wonder, could there be anything in this water? What's the matter? You've gone quiet all of a sudden. I think I might have just worked something out. An interesting possibility. Now, is there a way... Will it let me, like, check inside? Alright, we'll just leave it. We'll table this for now. We'll go back to what I was doing, which was I was about to press this specific thing here. Alright, yes, it's written here in the paperwork. Fatal hemorrhage from ballistic trauma. Yes. Luckily for all of us, a little burn on the wrist isn't going to kill us. And as there was no other signs of trauma on the victim's body to indicate some other cause of death, it can only have been the bullet from your gun that put an end to this innocent man's life. But it doesn't make sense. The burn must have happened straight away, when the plate was first brought to the table by the waiter. Yes, that's true. If it had cooled even slightly, it wouldn't have been able to make a burn like that. And if the victim burnt his wrist on the hot plate as soon as it was brought out from the kitchen, then he must have already been dead at that point. And yet, the fact is the victim was killed by a gunshot to the chest. Unless you're able to show the court evidence to disprove that, this is a complete waste of time. I concur. Prosecutor Ouchie is right. Ugh. Okay, maybe this is where I do it here. So let's present the bottle, because he said that he had a possibility, right? So I don't know if this will be right, but we'll try it. Oh, am I correct? I am correct. Okay. What is this? The bottle of water? Actually, there is one method of killing a man without leaving a trace that comes to mind. Obviously, I'm referring to poison. Poison? On the day of his death, we know that Dr. Wilson drank from this bottle of carbonated water. Could it be that there was poison inside? Could it be that the professor actually died after taking a sip from his glass? Order, order, order! Oh, there it is! There's the slam. That's right, not little measly slaps. And on that day, who was sitting at the same table as the professor and able to slip the poison in his drink? He's got his groove now. There's only one person who could possibly have done it. Jezaille Brett, it was you.
Objection!
This is outrageous. To suggest such a thing without a scrap of evidence. You little rookie imbecile, have you even considered the delicate situation our country finds itself in now? Have you forgotten that we'd only have just signed an accord of friendship with the British Empire? Have you even the vaguest inkling that your rash accusations could jeopardize the entire treaty?
Objection!
This is not a political arena. This is a trial to determine one individual's guilt with respect to one crime. What? The fact that this woman is British makes no difference. We are here to determine the truth. Ahem, if I may, I will silence you forever for this disgraceful attack. Oh! Well, here we go. We get to see her final form. It is you who should be silent. Of course. Dear lady! Where did that come from? She just snapped. I'm afraid I may have spoken unfairly before. I offer my most humble apologies. I'm sorry, my lady. To what are you referring? I described your police force as inferior, but no matter how inferior they may be, you still investigated this particular point thoroughly, I believe. The bottle, I mean, Inspector, and whether it contained poison or not. She seems to know a lot about what's going on in this case, of course. Well, alright, you did? Have you forgotten what my guiding principle is already? I strive for a flawless investigation every time, but, like, I feel like she shouldn't be privy on that stuff. I don't know, like, if nobody else knew about it. I don't believe it. Naturally, we tested the inside of the bottle and its contents. I'm still of the belief it was poison, but I'm thinking that because she works in, like, a medical school, Maybe the carbonation, like once it fizzles down and becomes water, maybe all traces of it disappear. I don't know. Don't ask me about chemicals and stuff like that, but maybe. Maybe there's something, a poison that could do that. Alright, what did you find, Inspector? I ordered tests for every toxin that's available in this country at the present time. We could find no trace of poison of any description in the bottle of carbonated water, Your Excellency. What? Are you sure? The tests were meticulously carried out by the chief coroner himself. No. No! Of course it wouldn't be that easy, eh? I'm very grateful to all of you Japanese. You've successfully established my complete innocence in this horrid affair. Thank you. But of course, dear lady, the pleasure was all ours. I was so sure. This can't be right. Everything falls into place if he was poisoned. Thank you, Counsel. I think the cross-examination has clarified everything. As the prosecution has asserted, a shot to the chest from this gun is the only conceivable cause of death. Furthermore, the accused, who by his own admission was holding the weapon, is the only possible culprit. I'm done for. The court wishes to apologize for the great inconvenience that this has caused you, Miss Brett. Oh no, I'm just glad the matter is resolved. Before proceeding, I must ask the counsel for the defense. Do you have any further new evidence to present the court at this point? Aww. Kazuma? I'm sorry, Ryunosuke. I have nothing more. Well, if you'll excuse me now, I really must be leaving. This is not... Oh! Of course, right? There's always something. Hey, there she is. There's my future assistant. Please wait. Isn't that... What is the meaning of this? Forgive me for intruding on court proceedings, Your Excellency. Susato Mikotoba, judicial assistant to the defense. Mikotoba? Ah, so he's on our side. Maybe. In my darkest hour, with nowhere left to go, she appeared like a bolt of lightning. And in her hands, she carried a small package wrapped in a furoshiki cloth. Okay, so she's got some new evidence here that will turn everything around, hopefully. Alright guys, that will do it for this episode of the Great Ace Attorney Chronicles. It seems like things are just getting started, even though it's been going on for a while. You know, as always, we have our back against the rope, and then we have a surprise person coming in with something to tell us. Maybe she found some evidence, maybe she learned some new information, this mysterious girl who will probably eventually become our assistant, and everything will get turned around. And I really do not care for this Jezaille girl, so I can't wait to take her down. I assume we're going to conclude the trial in the next episode, so I am looking forward to that. I hope you guys are too. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next episode. Until then, bye. Special thanks to my top-tier patrons, Nana, Sparky, Derek Nickel, Harry Gazif, Asborn Kennedy, and iCognito.